You know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful.
Welcome to the channel. Watch the best highlights of President Trump from yesterday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's dive right in. Trump accused Nancy Pelosi of growing wealthy through insider trading, claiming she and her husband had the highest investment returns in Wall Street history, aside from a few, calling it disgraceful and demanding an investigation.
You know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. What I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few.
CNN's Jake Tapper interviews former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who pushes back on President Trump's accusation of insider trading involving her and her husband, calling the claims ridiculous and unfounded.
This afternoon, President Trump mentioned you, and he made an allegation about your investments. I want to roll that clip and then give you a chance to respond.
You know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. And what I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few.
That's ridiculous. In fact, I very much support the stop the trading of members of Congress. Not that I think anybody's doing anything wrong. If they are prosecuted and they go to jail. But because of the confidence it instills in the American people, don't worry about this. But I have no concern about the obvious investments that had been made over time. I'm not into it, my husband is, but it isn't anything to do with anything insider. But the president has his own exposure, so he's always projecting. He's always projecting. And let's not give him any more time on that, please. We're going forward here.
President Trump announced new massive trade deals yesterday, saying Japan will pay $550 billion, while Europe is committing $750 billion, $400 billion, and $300 billion in deals.
We have a deal with Japan where they're going to pay us $550 billion. We have a deal with Europe where they're doing $750 billion plus $400 billion plus $300 billion. All we have is billions of dollars of cash pouring into our country from other countries that took advantage of us for many, many years. You know, they were taken advantage of. We were like the stupid people that didn't know what they were doing. We are the hottest country right now anywhere in the world, and that's why we're taking care of our veterans, okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country, and that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit, okay?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got the best highlights of President Trump. Unfiltered, bold, and straight to the point. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Let's dive in. Trump and J.D. Vance strongly deny ever attending any so-called Epstein strategy meeting. Trump slams the entire idea as a hoax, calling the Epstein files total bullshit and nothing more than a political distraction.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax. It's put out by the Democrats because we've had the most successful 6 months in the history of our country, and that's just a way of trying to divert attention to something that's total bullshit, okay?
Apple CEO Tim Cook presents President Trump with a stunning American-made gold gift as Apple announces a massive $100 billion investment in the U.S. economy. A big win moment. Don't miss it.
Comes from Utah and is 24 karat gold and insists I'll take the liberty of setting it off.
Wow.
Speaking from the Oval Office, President Trump addressed rising concerns about safety in Washington, D.C., declaring, "This has to be the best-run place in the country, not the worst-run place in the country." He also stated he's prepared to bring in the National Guard as quickly as possible if necessary, making it clear he's ready to take action.
What a shame. The rate of crime, the rate of muggings, killings, and everything else, we're not going to let it. And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too.
Do you want Congress to look at overturning the D.C. Home Rule Act?
We're going to look at that. In fact, the lawyers are already studying it. We have to run D.C. This has to be the best-run place in the country, not the worst-run place in the country. And it has so much potential, and we're going to take care of it. You're going to be safe. You're going to be safe walking down streets. You're not going to get mugged.
President Trump took a jab at Howard Stern, saying he lost his audience after endorsing Hillary Clinton. Trump added, "People said, give me a break." Another classic Trump moment you don't want to miss.
Howard Stern, it's a name I haven't heard. I used to do a show, we used to have fun, but I haven't heard that name in a long time. What happened? He got terminated?
Yeah, they're going to separate ways because I think what they're offering salary-wise is real low than what he's getting.
You know when he went down?
Whenever you want.
You know when he went down? No, before. When he endorsed Hillary Clinton, he lost his audience. People said, give me a break. He went down when he endorsed Hillary Clinton.
President Trump was asked about Elon Musk's rising popularity in a national poll. Trump responded by calling Musk a good person, showing rare praise for the tech billionaire.
A new Gallup poll says that Elon Musk is the most unpopular public figure in the country right now. I'm wondering, do you miss having him around the White House, or is that poll accurate?
I don't know if the poll's accurate. I think he's a good person. I think he had a bad moment, really bad moment. But he's a good person. I believe that.
During a tense moment, a reporter challenged President Trump on why India was being singled out for tariff punishment over buying oil from Russia. The reporter pointed out that India isn't the only country doing so. China also continues to buy Russian oil. Listen to what the president said.
Indian officials have said that there are other countries that are buying Russian oil.
It's okay.
Like China, for instance,
It's
buys
okay.
more.
Yeah.
Why are you singling India out for these additional sanctions?
It's only been 8 hours. So let's see what happens over the next.
More secondary sanctions
you're going to see a lot
soon.
more.
So this is a taste of
You're
what's
going to
come.
see a lot more. You're going to see so much secondary sanctions. Yes, ma'am.
At the Oval Office yesterday, President Trump was asked whether Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered any new concessions during the ongoing talks, ones he hadn't been willing to make before. Trump's response sheds light on where negotiations currently stand.
I don't call it a breakthrough. I mean, we've been working on this a long time. There are thousands of young people dying, mostly soldiers, but also, missiles being hit into Kiev and other places. But in terms of soldiers, I think Russia's lost over 20,000 since the beginning of the year. 20,000. And I guess the estimate for Ukraine is about 9,000. It's a terrible situation. We want to get it stopped. We don't have American soldiers there, but I feel I have an obligation to get it stopped. This was not my war. This war would have never started, not even a chance. And it didn't start for 4 years. I went 4 years and it didn't start. But this is Biden's war. This was on his watch. And it's funny, we had no land was taken from Trump. It was taken from Bush. It was taken from Biden. The whole thing they would take from Biden. It weren't for us. But it was taken by Obama. Take a look at what was taken with all of the land that was taken. Nothing was taken by Russia from us. Not 1 ounce of land was taken. I'm here to get the thing over with. It would have never started if I were president. And we're here to get it stopped and get the death stopped. Yeah, please.
President, in the past, you said you would know if he was passing you along. What gives
Yeah.
you any confidence that he is or isn't doing that this time around?
Can't answer the question yet. I'll tell you in a matter of weeks, maybe less. But we've made a lot of progress. And as you know, we put a 50% tariff on India on oil. They're the second largest. They're very close to China in terms of the purchase of oil from Russia. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but we've had very...
You said that Jeffrey Epstein stole people from Mar-a-Lago. At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know. I mean, I would figure it was ABC fake news that would ask that question, one of the worst.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today you're watching the best highlights from President Trump this past week, the moments that had everyone talking. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss an update. Let's dive in. Trump asked if he knew why Epstein was taking young women from Mar-a-Lago, including Virginia Giuffre.
You said that Jeffrey Epstein stole people from Mar-a-Lago. At the time, did you know why he was taking those young women, including Virginia?
No, I didn't know. I mean, I would figure it was ABC fake news that would ask that question, one of the worst.
President Trump slams Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, calling him a political hack after interest rates remain unchanged in July.
No, he's a political hack, not very good. He's not a smart guy, right?
President Donald Trump fires back at a reporter after a heated question about tariffs. Watch the explosive exchange unfold.
Yeah, please.
President, your tariffs policy goes into effect tomorrow.
Yeah.
As you know, a federal appellate court today heard oral arguments about whether or not you had the authority to unilaterally impose those tariffs. I'm not going to get you to weigh in on the legal arguments, but you're weighing your decision to do that, your authority to do that, based on a 1977 law. It's never been invoked before. Why didn't you invoke this law?
Well, we've been winning all along.
I just want to ask you, why didn't you invoke this law in your first term? You could have taken in billions upon billions of dollars in your first term, but you waited until your second term.
Yeah, because in my first term, I was fighting lunatics like you who were trying to do things incorrectly and inappropriately to a president that was duly elected. And we did do certain tariffs in the first. We were up by like this massive number of points on Biden, and they said, let's change to Kamala. Nobody knew who Kamala was. Nobody knew her last name, Harris. They said, we're going to get Vice President Harris. Everyone said, who the hell is Harris? They only knew her by the first name. But no, I thought she was a terrible candidate.
First of all, I'd like to say the same. Thank you to President Trump. Thank you for this honor. I'm humbled by it. I'm truly honored to be on this. Vice President Vance, thank you very much. Secretary Kennedy, truly appreciate all that everybody is doing for the health and wellness of the entire country.
President Donald Trump is calling for a full investigation into Nancy Pelosi, questioning how she became extremely wealthy while serving in Congress.
You know, Nancy Pelosi became rich by having inside information. She made a fortune with her husband, and I think that's disgraceful. What I do think is Nancy Pelosi should be investigated because she has the highest return of anybody practically in the history of Wall Street, save a few. All we have is billions of dollars of cash pouring into our country from other countries that took advantage of us for many, many years. You know, they were taken advantage of. We were like the stupid people that didn't know what they were doing. We have a deal with Japan where they're going to pay us $550 billion. We have a deal with Europe where they're doing $750 billion plus $400 billion plus $300 billion. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. But we've stopped about 5 wars, so that's much more important than playing golf. As much as I like it, it's much more important. But we've stopped about 5 wars, so that's much more important than playing golf. As much as I like it, it's much more important. And thank you to the media. The media's been terrific, believe it or not. I didn't use the word fake news one time, not one time. Today they're not fake news. Today they're wonderful news. Who are you with?
I'm with NBC News.
NBC fake news. Okay. NBC's one of the worst. What else do you have? We are the hottest country right now anywhere in the world, and that's why we're taking care of our veterans. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Russia and Ukraine, it's a horrible thing, and I'm not happy with President Putin at all. I'm disappointed, frankly, that President Putin hasn't stopped. I'm not happy about it either.
Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I've got another trending topic. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let's get started. At a White House event on Monday with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, President Trump spoke about the war in Ukraine, saying he's not happy with Putin and is very disappointed that Putin hasn't stopped the war and is still killing innocent people.
We're trying to help out with a Biden-created monster, this whole thing that's happening with Russia and Ukraine. It's a horrible thing, and I'm not happy with President Putin at all. But this is something that would have never happened if I were president. This was a war that was never going to happen. Go ahead, Brian.
I was going to say, how would you address your critics that in the election they said that you would cause the next World War III, when in fact you're solving all the problems?
I'm stopping wars. I'm stopping wars. And I hate to see people killed. Like, as an example, Ukraine and Russia. They're not Americans there being killed. They're not Israeli that are being killed. These are all Russians and all Ukrainians. But it's 5,000, maybe 7,000 last week, 7,500 last week, mostly soldiers. But people in towns and cities that are getting hit, but mostly death is mostly soldiers. Now, so they don't come from here, but it's 7,000 last week souls. And if I can stop that, you know, they have parents and they have sisters and brothers and getting married and who knows, they're just people, but they're souls. And if I can stop a war, you know, because I have an ability to do so, I'm disappointed, frankly, that President Putin hasn't stopped. I'm not happy about it either. Yes.
At a White House cabinet meeting on Tuesday, President Trump lashed out at a reporter who asked about a DOJ memo related to Jeffrey Epstein. Watch Trump's heated response as he shuts down the question on the spot.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
President Trump was asked point blank about Elon Musk possibly starting a new political party. Watch Trump's reaction and what he had to say about Elon's big political move.
This is, I think, the first cabinet meeting since Elon Musk has not been a special government employee, not here anymore. He's now saying he's going to create a third political party. Are you worried about the impact that could have?
No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for me.
President Trump has issued an ominous threat to New York City over the Democratic nomination of Zohran Mamdani, warning of possible federal action if Mamdani blocks ICE operations or challenges Trump's policies. Watch what Trump said and how Mamdani...
How do you want Republican voters in the city to vote in the upcoming mayoral election? Should they vote for Eric Adams? Should they vote for Sliwa? Should they pick someone else?
Look, number one, you have a communist running, and you shouldn't vote for him. He's a disaster. He's leading. He's got the Democrat nomination because that shows you where the Democrats have gone. He actually wants to take over the grocery stores of John Catsimatidis, who's a great guy, a rich guy, grocer, does a good job, wants to take over. He actually called me the other day. He's concerned his stores are going to be taken from him, and they won't be run like John runs them, believe me. He runs a good operation, but he actually said he wants to run his own grocery stores. No, this is a man who's not very capable, in my opinion, other than he's got a good line of bullshit, and he's convinced them to go with him. Now, as you know, Cuomo, who does have capability, is running, but he got knocked out, and now they're running as, you have Eric Adams, the current mayor, you have Cuomo, and you have Curtis Sliwa. And Curtis runs every 4 years. He seems to be a fixture on the running scale. But you know, it's I'm not getting involved. But I can tell you this: I used to say we will not ever be a socialist country, right? Well, I'll say it again: we're not going to have. If a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same. But we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. We could run D.C. I mean, we're looking at D.C. We don't want crime in D.C. We want the city to run well. Susie Wiles is working very closely with the mayor, and they're doing all right. I mean, in the sense that we would run it so good, it would be run so proper. We'd get the best person to run it. The crime would be down to a minimal. Would be much less. And you know, we're thinking about doing it. To be honest with you, we want a capital that's run flawlessly, and it wouldn't be hard for us to do it. And we've had a good relationship with the mayor, and we're testing it to see if it works. But New York City will run properly. We're going to bring New York back. I love New York. You know, I loved New York for a long time. Then we had a bunch of crooked people in there. You have an attorney general who's a total stone cold crook, New York State, Letitia James, a total crook. All they do is want to go after political opponents. They do what's ever expeditious for them. She's the one that took out Cuomo because she wanted to run for governor, and then she ended up getting 1% of the vote. She polled at 1%, she dropped out, went back to Attorney General. You have a lot of crooked things going on in New York. We're going to straighten out New York. Maybe we're going to have to straighten it out from Washington. But when I see a communist who has actually gotten a Democrat, pretty much gotten a Democrat nomination, they also went to that new form of voting, which is a beauty. You go in there in third place, you come out in first. That's that form of voting that they have gone to. You know what I'm talking about. It's not too good. We're going to do something for New York. I can't tell you what yet, but we're going to make New York great again also. We're going to make it great again with the country.
Caroline Leavitt demands that Democrats tone down their inflammatory rhetoric after Border Patrol agents were ambushed in Texas.
We certainly call on Democrats to tone down their rhetoric against ICE and Border Patrol agents who, again, are everyday men and women. I would encourage AOC and other Democrats to actually meet with the United States Border Patrol. These are honorable Americans who are just simply trying to do their job to enforce the law. They go home to their families every night just like we all do, and they deserve respect and dignity for trying to enforce our nation's immigration laws and to remove public safety threats from our communities. The White House is aware of the shooting that took place today in Texas, and we are working with the appropriate federal agencies to get to the bottom of what happened.
President Trump gets a surprise from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu as he's presented with a letter nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize. See Trump's reaction and what this could mean for his legacy.
So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well-deserved, and you should get it.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much, Bibi.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
Trump border czar Tom Homan says arresting 3,000 illegal immigrants per day still isn't enough to secure the border. Watch as he explains why tougher action is needed.
And for those that say 3,000 a day is too much, I want to remind them, do the math. We'd have to arrest 7,000 every single day for the remainder of this administration just to catch once Biden released the nation, right? We talk about 12 million illegal aliens. We're going to talk about 12 million for 2 decades. We know at least 8 million were released in this country with Joe Biden.
Leavitt calls out Senator Schumer for spreading what she says are falsehoods, blaming Trump for the deadly Texas floods. Watch as she defends Trump and responds to the accusations.
Unfortunately, in the wake of this once-in-a-generation natural disaster, we have seen many falsehoods pushed by Democrats such as Senator Chuck Schumer and some members of the media. Blaming President Trump for these floods is a depraved lie, and it serves no purpose during this time of national mourning.
Thanks for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.
Well, now we know the truth, that Donald Trump was indeed in the Epstein files.
Senator Chuck Schumer just dropped a bombshell, claiming Donald Trump is named in the Epstein files. He says this could be the real reason Speaker Johnson sent House Republicans running. This is big. Watch this closely.
Well, now we know the truth, that Donald Trump was indeed in the Epstein files, and they lied about it again and again and again. And now we know why Speaker Johnson called the House prematurely on recess, the Epstein recess, because they're afraid of that truth.
Watch it one more time, then drop your comment. Like and share it if you think people need to see this.
Well, now we know the truth, that Donald Trump was indeed in the Epstein files, and they lied about it again and again and again. And now we know why Speaker Johnson called the House prematurely on recess, the Epstein recess, because they're afraid of that truth.
Trump just dropped a major statement on India. President Trump called out India for its sky-high tariffs tough trade barriers, and close ties with Russia, especially during the Ukraine war. He said India has been buying too much energy and military gear from Russia, and that's not good for global peace. Starting August 1st, Trump announced a 25% tariff plus a penalty on India. He made it clear America wants fair trade and no more support for Putin's war. President Trump said, "Remember, while India is our friend, we have over the years done relatively little business with them because their tariffs are far too high, among the highest in the world, and they have the most strenuous and obnoxious non-monetary trade barriers of any country. Also, they have always bought a vast majority of their military equipment from Russia and are Russia's largest buyer of energy, along with China, at a time when everyone wants Russia to stop the killing in Ukraine. All things not good. India will therefore be paying a tariff of 25% plus a penalty for the above, starting on August 1st. Thank you for your attention to this matter. MAGA.